Hello and welcome. My name's Dylan Baker, and tonight I'm going to be chatting with a wildlife expert and world-renowned birdwatcher, James Curry. He's a star of TV, including his brand new show, A Wild Connection, with his latest episode on Mexico's secret seabirds. So, James, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Dylan. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, James, you've obviously got a massive passion for birds. That's obvious. You started birdwatching at a very early age. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of how you got into it and what your childhood was like in South Africa, birdwatching?
Yeah, sure, Dylan. So I was very fortunate growing up in Cape Town, South Africa, which is one of the most picturesque cities in the world. But it's also a fantastic birding city with a lot of endemic birds to that region of the subcontinent. And when I was a boy, my parents ran the restaurant in Kirstenbosch National Botanical Gardens, which is on the eastern slopes of Table Mountain. And it was there really that my love for birds was forged. And I remember a particular moment when I was about 10 years old, when I was watching some rock hyraxes, which are like these small, furry, brown creatures. They almost look like rabbits.
Right.
I was watching them on a boulder and I saw a black eagle swoop in and take one of the rock hyraxes right in front of my eyes, literally, 20 or 30 feet from me. And it was at that moment that I knew that I wanted to chase birds for the rest of my life.
So, like you say, it obviously had a strong impression on you as a young boy. Can you sum up sort of what bird watching means to you now as an adult, as a career?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I've always recognized that there's two types of bird watching. There's bird watching in the traditional sense, but then there's birding. And I think that the two are very different. Bird watching has pretty passive connotations, whereas birding is more of an active pursuit where you travel and you go and look for birds, and it can be very exciting. And through birding, it can be the vehicle that takes you to explore different cultures, different wildlife, different scenery, and different areas around the world. So I definitely subscribe more to the birding side of bird watching.
Sure.
But there's something for everybody with birds, whether you want to do it passively or actively.
So let's get on to the very specific area that we're going to talk about tonight, and that's the Riviera Nayarit in Mexico, where you've been plenty of times before, I believe. Can you tell us a little bit about the endemic species there, and if someone was, a novice bird watcher or a very experienced bird watcher, what they would, go there specifically to see?
Yeah, absolutely, Dylan. Riviera Nayarit is probably one of the most underestimated regions in Mexico for birds. It is absolutely fantastic. Just that little strip of coastline, going up into the Sierra Madre. If you go a little bit further into the mountains, but that whole strip is fantastic. I mean, with a little bit of effort, you can see up to 30 Western Mexican endemics in that region, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's not just that, but you're combining a region with world-class beaches, world-class surfing, if that's your thing, incredible cuisine, great people, and then amazing other wildlife as well. So Riviera Nayarit really has everything, and it's actually one of my favorite birding destinations in the world. I never get tired of going down there, seeing old friends, spending some time on the water, visiting the islands, and then doing some real top quality birding. Now, in terms of endemics, I mean, there are fantastic birds there. My favorites would be citrulline trogon, for example, which, I mean, just the colors on this bird evokes birding in the tropics. Then there's elegant quails with their nice sort of top tufts on the top of their head, the males looking sexually dimorphic to the females. They're fantastic birds to see. Black-throated magpie jays. Oh my goodness. This is a jay or a corvid with one of the longest tails of any bird on our planet. So yeah, there are just so many. I mean, those are just 3 of the 30 plus endemics that you can see in that region. So if I was to go there, I would spend a little bit of time maybe in the Sierra Madre, visit one of the Huichol communities, which are the Native American communities up at the top there. Great birds there, like tufted jay, which is a big special bird to see up in the Sierra Madre and the Huichol communities. and then maybe spend some time down in the Suyalita kind of surfing region, and that's where you can spot endemics like orange-breasted buntings, which is a beautiful bird. And then without a doubt, the area that you cannot miss is San Blas. And San Blas, I'm happy to talk a little bit about that, because in my opinion, that's the best region of that whole area. I mean, you can easily get 20 endemics at San Blas with a bit of effort. So I'd spend the majority of my time at San Blas. There's a great birder-friendly hotel there called Hotel Garza Canela, which is just fantastic. In fact, one of the owners of the hotel is from Master Chef Mexico. And she
really?
The most phenomenal meals. And so you're staying at this birder-friendly hotel, but you've got this, like, one of the best chefs in the world taking care of you and preparing meals for you. And that's also a good staging ground, San Blas, to go to what I like to call Mexico's Galapagos, which is a beautiful island called Isla Isabel, where you can walk with blue-footed boobies and magnificent frigate birds and tropic birds, and see whales breaching if you go at the right time of the year, humpback whales, and swim with whale sharks on the way across there. So, I mean, doesn't get much better than that, in my opinion.
Can you sort of maybe give us an idea of when the best times to go are to see certain things? Yeah,
for sure. So my favorite time to visit the region is any time from October through to about March. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is, and you could even sort of push it into April, the reason I say that is you get to take advantage of all the migrant birds, which are obviously coming down to overwinter in the area. Common North American birds like, cedar waxwings and yellow-rumped warblers and rufous hummingbirds. And so those endemic resident birds are then supplemented by a huge wave of migrants that come down the Pacific Flyway from North America, from as far as Canada. So there really are a lot of birds there. In fact, in San Blas, there's a Christmas bird count every year, and they quite regularly approach 300 birds on that Christmas bird count. So really is a hugely diverse region with a lot of different migrating birds. But then that time is also a really good time to look for whale sharks. Yes. And of course, you've got humpback whales sure. That time, December, January, February. You've got humpback whales breaching and breeding, moms with babies, and it's just fantastic. Brilliant.
Well, I think we've covered pretty much everything that we wanted to cover tonight. We've covered sort of a little bit about, yourself and your passion, and hopefully we can instill that passion in some more people who are going to watch this. And then obviously specifically focusing on the Riviera Nayarit in Mexico and why it is a paradise, I guess is the only word to describe it for bird watchers. So, James, is there anything else you'd like to add before we say goodbye tonight?
If you want to add in something about some of the specific regions, like there are areas around San Blas, for example, there's a Tecuitata coffee plantation, which is really good, especially for that citrulline trogon. It's a fantastic area. And then there are also these beautiful waterways. I think what makes Riviera Nayarit so special is the diversity of habitats. And with that comes the diversity of birds. So, you've got mangrove estuaries, you've got these beautiful freshwater rivers, you've got the high Sierra Madre Mountains, you've got offshore islands, you've got beaches, you've got primary forest, and you've got scrubland. And so you've got all this different habitat, which makes for really, really good birding. So you could go, to the Tecuitata estate for citrulline trogons. You can go to wonderful freshwater river waterway called La Tovara, where you can see boat-billed herons and northern potus. So it's just, the possibilities are endless. If any of you want to check out our new TV show, we had Birding Adventures on for 10 years. You're welcome to go and check us out on YouTube at awildconnection.com. We are featuring Riviera Nayarit. The first episode was done on blue-footed boobies, and it's called Mexico's Secret Seabirds. And we're also doing another episode coming from the Riviera Nayarit area on humpback whales. So I hope you'll tune into that one as well.
Brilliant. I will definitely check that out, and I'll hopefully chat to you again at some point, James. Lovely to meet you. Lovely to chat to you. So thanks very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Dylan.
Thank you, pal. Cheers. So there you have it. Thank you again so much to James Curry for joining me. A passionate man full of amazing stories about bird watching. I really felt that passion come through. I hope you did too. I'm going to pass you over now to Paulo Sanchez Val, who is the European representative for the Riviera Nayarit, and he's going to give you a little bit more detail about this incredible corner of the world. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been Dylan Baker, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Dylan, for the introduction. So now let's move on to the practicalities of the presentation. So where to stay and how to get to Riviera Nayarit. So this Mexico Pacific coast destination. So we are located on the west coast of Mexico, the Pacific coast. We are roughly at the center of the very long Mexican Pacific coast, and we are also roughly at the same latitude as Hawaii and Thailand. So that can give you already an idea on how the destination looks like. And this is only an example. So very lush destination, very green, very mountainous. So that mountain chain is all along the destination, always present behind us, and very nice ocean there. All of the beaches on Riviera Nayarit are swimmable. Another important characteristic of the region is our weather. So we are very lucky to have a very good microclimate here, 360 days of sunshine and a very good average temperature of 25 degrees in the air and 26 degrees in the water. So that's a very good average throughout the year. The Riviera Nayarit is this very long coastline on the state of Nayarit. So it's a 300-kilometer long coastline on the state of Nayarit. And the state of Nayarit is one of the 32 states in Mexico. It is roughly the same size as Belgium. So just to give you a rough idea. The Riviera Nayarit is composed by 23 micro destinations, so 23 different places to visit and to stay. The most popular for bird watching are probably those areas around the historical town of San Blas. Here you can see the northern part of the Riviera Nayarit, and San Blas is the gateway of many bird watching paradises like La Tobara National Park or Isla Isabel as well. There are very good accommodation options in the area, and roughly the distance between the airport that you can see at the bottom of your screen, so that is the international airport, it's Puerto Vallarta's international airport. The distance between that airport and this area in San Blas is about 2.5 hours by the road, so it's quite easy to get into San Blas area. Or another option as well is, in case you want to go straight into San Blas, you can fly from Mexico City onto Tepic's airport. Tepic is the capital city of the state of Nayarit. You can see it in the center of the map. There is another airport as well there. So the travel between Tepic and San Blas is about 45 minutes. Another very popular area is the southern part, not only because it's closer to the airport, but also because it's the area where most of the hotel infrastructure is located. So most of the hotels in the Riviera Nayarit are located in this southern area. So it's also a good option for to stay and probably travel into San Blas for a day trip or maybe a short excursion of a couple of days, 3 days, 4 days. That's also definitely possible. So this is a zoom of that southern area where most of the hotels are located. So you can see on the left-hand side the list of hotels. So it goes from everything from small independent hotels to 4- and 5-star, very contemporary, all-inclusive hotels to also very high-end and exclusive properties and boutique hotels as well there. So you can see also one road that goes up and down the region, very easy to self-drive, a very good road, the quality is really, really good, and very easy to go in between the different micro destinations as well. As I mentioned before, the airport is located at the southern part of the Riviera Nayarit. It is actually located on the neighboring state of Jalisco, where our sister destination of Puerto Vallarta is located. So we share the airport with Puerto Vallarta. The airport is located at about 20-25 minutes from the first areas in Riviera Nayarit, which is that area in orange called Nuevo Vallarta. So how to get into Riviera Nayarit? So it's through the international airport of Puerto Vallarta. And from the UK, we have had direct connectivity since 2014 from Manchester and from London Gatwick with TUI, Thomson. But also you can get there from London Heathrow with Aeromexico or British Airways, and then very swift connections through Mexico City's airport onto Puerto Vallarta's airport, very speedy connections. From the rest of Europe, you can also fly into Mexico City, and then from Mexico City onto Puerto Vallarta. Also, another option, very good option, is through any of the main hubs in the US. So we are very well connected with the main airports in the US, and also with Canada, the main hubs on Canada. So that's also a very good excuse for a combined trip, Canada and Mexico, or US and Mexico as well, and Riviera Nayarit, of course. We are also connected with most of the other main airports in Mexico, so also very easy to combine a trip between not only Mexico City, but also other popular destinations in Mexico, central Mexico, and then on to Riviera Nayarit. So here are my contact details. Please do not hesitate to contact me. I am based in London, and I'm here to help whether you need any additional information on how to get there, when to get there, where to stay, or you need information about activities, or whether you are probably a travel agent or a tour operator and want to discover more and develop your product there. Please do not hesitate to contact me. I'm very happy to answer any questions. My email address is there, my telephone number is there, and also the website, rivieranayarit.com. So thank you very much for your time again, and see you soon at Riviera Nayarit. Bye-bye.